Dad, cheers.
Cheers.
Weird. This is amazing. Like, I am so happy that you're doing this. I'm actually quite shocked that you're here. Like, what convinced you? What changed your mind? Because you are not really a lover of the camera, are you? Like, you're not into cameras and being on camera and all that stuff.
That's correct. I'm camera shy, but then mom asked me that I should do it. So that here I am.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you coming. We once again have a 3-camera setup, so Dad, if you need to say anything directly to the viewers, you can say it either here, or you could even say it here. But for the most part, it'll just be a casual talk between the two of us. Sure. At some point, you'll forget that the camera is rolling.
So. Sure. I was born in India in a very small city in Uttar Pradesh. Our village has approximately 300 people total.
Yeah.
And we didn't have electricity and we had the mud houses. And at some point during the years, some days during the years, we even didn't have even enough to eat. As such, basically, we were a family of 16 persons, including my uncle and his family and my father and brothers and everybody.
Yeah.
So at some point we even didn't have enough to eat. So we didn't have the electricity, we didn't have any of the facilities that the people have it here and they take it for granted. The only way to come out of the poverty for a normal people who has come from the humble background is basically the hard work and education. So I studied very hard and I worked very hard and I studied, and that's how basically I had an interest at that time. The computers were coming up and I said that I want to do something in computers. And finally I went into the software. Software people have opportunity to come to the US, and that's how I came to US, and then rest is history.
Have you ever had any insecurities? And how should a person deal with insecurities?
So what type of insecurities?
I mean, have you ever had them, or have you, like, where did you get your confidence in life from? Like, has it just been because you trust your work and you trust your kind of ability to have grit, or?
Well, during my time, like 40 years ago, getting into a professional college like engineering college for a common general population was extremely difficult.
Yeah.
So in our state, the total number of seats were approximately 700 seats. And the total number of people who will appear in the exam every year was approximately 200,000.
Wow.
It selected 700 out of 200,000. So it was an extremely tough process, and I was not a very brilliant or very intelligent person, but I did believe in extremely hard work. So I tried first year after graduation from the high school, and I didn't get selected. Then I tried second year, I didn't get selected. Then the third year I was very insecure that whether I'll get selected or not. And if I would have not got selected in that year, then perhaps I would have been pulling the rickshaw or driving a taxi in Lucknow, because I thought that I'll run away from home. I'm not sure what the future would have been. So during that time, I was studying almost 20 hours a day, sleeping 2 hours and then 2 hours for other bathing and everything else. And I forgot the world. So I did have my securities at that time. And I could see what they call in Hindi is that aankh ke samne andhera chha jana. Means you see the darkness in your front. I did used to see and experience couple of times, but then once you get the success, then it's basically a different world.
What I'm wondering is, like, most people from Unnao have not left Unnao. Is that safe to say? At least like a good percentage are Unnao people, including,
Yes, I think I might be one of the first persons who have come out of...
And to come out in such a big way, like come all the way to America.
Correct.
How many weeks or you were studying 20 hours a day?
That I did for 6 months. For 6 months I did it before the competitive exams. So that time the engineering exams were held starting from beginning of the April or till end of July. So somewhere around the period of December, I thought that it is a do or die situation. And then at that time, basically, I put my whole effort, and then I was able to go through for 6 months or so.
6 months of 20 hours a day. But I think most people would not be inspired, even in Unnao, like to work that hard. So why do you think you felt it, maybe someone else didn't feel it? Or do you think the other person did feel it, but they just couldn't get selected?
Well, it's that if you are desperate, right?
Yeah.
That if you are at the end of the road,
Yeah.
and then you need to see that, okay, whether you are successful or not, then only you basically prompts. If you're already comfortable that you have a pretty good life, your decent life, and you're already well provided, then those sort of situation doesn't arise. So basically, I know that, okay, I'm not going to get anything from my father, and we don't have even enough to eat. So the only way I see that life can be improved in India at that time, in general, either you become a engineer or doctor, and that gives you a good, decent life. So if you come out of the poverty, then education and hard work is one of the ways for the normal common people I can see. So that's what I did.
And so it was basically hunger and intensity, in many emotional and physical hunger even, that pushed you. But it's kind of harder. I never starved. How can a person get what you had and have if they didn't go through the same things? Or do you think you need to have that kind of pain to get motivation? Does pain create motivation?
I think it has to come from within. Until unless that kind of desire is from within, nobody else can make you work like that one. So you need to have a burning desire to achieve something, then only it will come, and then it's something that happens by its own. I'm not sure how you can make somebody have that desire and make it work, but that's how it is.
You and I have been of, I don't know if you would agree, but of similar intensity. Like when my friends meet me, I'm often told, I hear this a lot now, is that I'm told that I'm very intense and very intimidating, even sometimes people have told me. Because I do feel burning desire, but I was not able to translate it into schoolwork like you did. I never became the studious person that you had been. Yeah,
because I think that is because everything was already well taken care of, right? And you know that you already will have something or not. You're not that desperate.
I was never desperate, but I do feel desperate. I feel desperate for different things, but it's never came out of poverty. And I don't think I could ever be as tough as, I could never work 20 hours a day. I'm not that, I would never grow up that tough, I guess. Was it hard to adjust to the US when you first moved here?
I'm comfortable and able to adjust anywhere. I never had a problem in adjusting in any place, whether it was in Chennai or Bangalore or Mumbai. I can adjust anywhere.
This is kind of a more heavy question. We can cut it out, or you don't have to answer it if you don't want to. We can clip it out of the interview. But someone asked, like, when you first came here and we started working in the US, did you have any experiences with racism, or not really?
Not really. I thought my experience with US is extremely positive. People here are very nice. They respect, and I never had any kind of any problem here. I feel that people in India and other places, they have more basically racism and so on instead of US. And I never had any negative experience in US.
That's amazing. I think pretty much same here. I mean, obviously I was much after, but still. On that note, we should probably take a minute here to thank our sponsor.
This video is sponsored by BiOptimizers.
Exactly, thanks.
Hey, hope you're enjoying the interview so far. A quick word from the sponsor of today's video, Cognibiotics by BiOptimizers. Cognibiotics is a prebiotic and probiotic supplement designed to elevate your mood and improve your cognitive function. It contains 9 powerful bacterial strains and 17 Chinese herbs. These strains are preserved to keep them alive by the time they enter your gut. It's suitable for vegetarians, it's non-GMO, gluten-free, dairy-free. I've known about the importance of gut health for a long time. It's considered like your second brain because there's so many nerve endings in your gut. So like your mood, your serotonin levels are deeply affected by how healthy your gut is. And even if you eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, a lot of the nutrients that would come from like a farm, if you're eating like a vegetable, some of that dirt from farmland would have bacteria that are healthy. And these are mostly just stripped out of our diets now. So having something like a prebiotic or probiotic to improve your gut health could be a very useful thing. Cognibiotics doesn't contain any chemical fillers and artificial ingredients, and it's It's a breakthrough mood enhancing formula which supports gut health and positive feelings in a safe and natural way. If you click the link in my description box and use the code SINBAD10 at checkout, you'll get 10% off of your purchase, and you'll have your money backed by a 1-year guarantee if you're not satisfied with the product. An order of Cognibiotics also comes with a free ebook, The Biological Optimization Blueprint. Thank you to BiOptimizers for sponsoring this video, and thank you all for watching. Now back to my dad.
How do you feel about YouTube? Do you want me to continue pursuing YouTube? Do you feel neutral about it? Would you rather have me focus more on my day job? I mean, you and I are both in software. I think you're more on the dev end, I'm more of a consulting end. But how do you feel about all this now that you've sort of seen it evolve over the years?
YouTube somehow I don't consider as a job.
Yeah.
Or career.
Yeah.
I know that there are some persons who have made it a big, like Mr. Beast,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
But or Lily Singh.
Yeah.
But still, when they talk or whenever I see their videos, it still doesn't look like a serious career to me, even though they might have made a lot of money.
Yeah.
As a hobby, I think it is okay.
Yeah.
It will be difficult for me to consider it as a career, but I'll be more comfortable when I see that yes, you are financially secure. I'll be less worried, let me say like this. But so far, I have not accepted as a YouTube as a career. I know that Jim Bolling, he is the one who basically exposes the scammers. He has got 3.7 million subscribers, but he still have the full-time job.
Does he? Wow.
Yes.
He must be making so much money off of YouTube then.
Yeah, he has got the Patreon, Buy Me Coffee and another methods also, but still he does the full-time job. So it will be difficult for me to accept YouTube as a career, but let's see what happens.
Someone asked, can you say some Kanpur style slang? Do you know any slang sayings in Kanpur? Kanpuri wali koi dialogue bolo ne? Kisi ne bola?
Well, I have been here for last 30 years, for 27 years.
Yeah.
So it is difficult to speak in Kanpuriya Bhasha, but
what is the difference between Kanpur and like a city like Mumbai? Like, what is that special characteristic that Kanpur has its own energy, you know, like.
Yes, so what they call is a Kanpuriya Bhasha.
Yeah.
And Kaan pe lappad marunga sale, right? So that's how that's how they talk it, and then they will in every sentence there will be 2 curses, I guess. So that's how
they're gundes. They're also famous for their laddus and stuff, right? In Kanpur?
Correct. There is a Thaggu ke laddu that's very pretty famous.
Yeah.
Aisa koi saga nahi jisko humne thaga nahi.
Yeah. Wow. Dude, people are gonna love that line that you just did. What do you feel about Western culture, Western like dating culture and stuff? Do you have any thoughts about it?
I find it is pretty tough sometime to find basically a life partner, because they are on kind of their own, right? Whereas we have got the help also, right? If we cannot find it, then we have our parents help us, right?
Yeah.
So that way I find it that sometimes it is tough for them. And then also because in the beginning, when the hormones are raising, it is more kind of a physical attraction. So that kind of sometimes wanes off as the time goes off.
Yeah.
And that basically results into the breakup. So if I'm right, there is approximately 60% divorce rate in Western countries.
Yeah.
Means in those terms, it is not that as easy as it seems.
Some smaller, lighter questions, more quick. Do you have a favorite movie, favorite Bollywood movie?
I got a famous English movie. It's called Trading Places.
Yes.
And the Sting, but the most, I think my favorite movie is Trading Places, because it shows the realities of the life.
Because one man is very poor, he's on the streets, and another man is rich, and the rich man isn't even working that hard, it seems.
Right, but then when he becomes poor, then what happens with all the friends and relatives and so on?
You like this phrase, no one supports a loser.
Like, exactly.
That's one of the tough things about life, you know.
That's correct. So people see the success. People see the people who are successful in life.
Yeah.
That's what they look for. But then they don't see that how many people behind the scenes who are still basically struggling. That's a reality of their life, and that's a reality of the world.
You also loves the TV show Columbo. He like loves
Yes.
that show. He loves all things movies related to naval warfare, right?
Yes, anything to do with the submarine movies, or even for that matter, any war movie.
War movies, submarine movies.
Correct.
But submarine movies are your like biggest niche favorite, right? Like
Yes, I would have seen all the
Every single one.
every single submarine warfare movie.
and they're not, it's not a very common kind of concept of a movie to make, especially today. No one would think, what is even a submarine? It's like, it seems, but you love it because it's a storytelling in a confined location.
That's one thing.
Yeah.
And then another thing is that it shows that how to overcome situations. For example, the Das Boot
Yeah.
or the Crimson Tide, those movies shows that when you are in a situation where it's question of life or death,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
or do or die, then how you overcome those hardships.
I don't think we've talked this long in probably 15 years. The one thing I'm learning is that we are so similar in thinking. We're both we look for inspiration from movies. We don't want to watch it just for something trivial. Like I hate horror. You hate horror movies, right? You don't care about them.
Yes, I don't like horror movies or sci-fi movies.
Yeah. You like inspiration.
Which are basically not real, right?
Yeah,
Not realistic movies.
My very favorite experience in all of cinema has been watching a movie with you. Do you know what movie that was?
Is it a recent movie or
No.
long
but
time back?
you had taken me to the theaters. So
Yes.
Otherwise, I'll tell you if you can't guess.
No, I can't remember 20 years ago.
Master and Commander.
Oh, yes.
That was the best movie I've ever seen in a theater. That was shocking. That exposed me to a whole new world.
That's correct. So Master and Commander is also basically exploring the unknown, right?
Yeah.
So it's an adventure movie, and then
They don't make them like those anymore.
Yeah, coming over all those situations in life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Master and Commander.
What about that? A favorite food?
Favorite food is basically, I'll say that matar paneer. That
Same
mom
here.
makes. Yeah.
I didn't know that. Wow. It must be genetic. A lot of
Well,
things.
yeah, there is nothing not to like about matar paneer. So.
Exactly. What do you see from me in 5 years? Can you take any guesses, or do you choose not to predict?
Well, 5 years, I think if your level of standard for making these is going to improve quite a bit, right?
Thanks, Dad. Thanks.
So that's because just like I had a passion for becoming a computer engineer, right?
Yeah.
Similarly, you have a passion for making the YouTube videos or the videos.
Yeah.
So if somebody has got the passion, and then you have also the means, and we are also there, then you have the means, then definitely you're going to make it. I see that in 5 years you're going to make it as a YouTuber, but if not, then you'll realize that okay, you can't, right?
Yeah.
And then you have enough on the side backing also, and also the skill set to succeed and able to figure out that what you want to do with your life, right?
Mm-hmm. Do you have any advice for me as a human being? Do you have any advice for the viewers who are on average 18 to 35 who watch me? 90% men, 11% women.
I think the advice I have is for you as well as the viewers, is that if you can make a living out of your passion, you're lucky, and that's great. Go for it.
Yeah.
But then you also have to be practical in life and see that whether it is really realistic or not, right?
Yeah.
And so you have to be realistic. And then another advice is that obviously education and hard work, that's a key to success for 99.99% of the people. Mm-hmm. Maybe 0.01% are they are lucky and they get a lottery and they don't have to work. And then have your expenses less than your income. Save at least 20% of your income and invest it, so that you don't have to struggle and ask for help from anybody in older days of your life.
Yeah, great. Thanks so much. Well, Dad, before we wrap up, I just want to say, since we have you on camera, I don't know when the next time I'll ever be able to convince you to be in a video. I love you. Thank you for everything you've done for me. I consider all of this because of you. Yeah.
Love you too. That's it?
No, hang on. You have to say the tagline. Do you know the outro to my channel?
Simba? No?
Greatness is coming.
Oh, greatness is. Well, the greatness is coming, but then you have to work for it, right? So you have to earn it. There is no free lunch as such.
Hell yeah. Greatness is coming. Pay for your goddamn lunch. Cheers.